Well, it's chilly, but the sun is out. We're taking what we can get. Yes, ducks. So everyone is doing really well, despite the fact that I'm not loving the cold weather. I'm just going to go check on Eclipse. Eclipse the other night had some damage to her face from a raccoon. It's okay, vodka intervened. So I'm just going to make sure she's doing all right. She's separated in her own hutch. Yeah, you're even breathing better. Okay. You always worry. Rabbits are obligate nose breathers. So she had some damage to the side of her face, including her nose. And so she's breathing kind of for a few days. And for 2 days. These guys are doing fine. But you worry because you just don't know. They can't breathe out of their mouth. Like we can, if our nose is clogged. They can't. And part of her nose was damaged. So your biggest concern is always, are you going to be able to breathe? And she was breathing kind of hard, kind of harsh for a couple of days, but you can't. You could hear her breathe. Like you could get close to the pen and you could hear her breathing. And you shouldn't hear a rabbit breathing. They're quiet animals. But it's okay. That seems to have resolved. So we're not worried about that anymore. So lucky for us, she seems to be on the mend. Now she's going to stay separated for a little while. I'm just seeing what you're doing. Big old Shadowfax. How you doing, biggin? Yeah? Still chopping up your ground? Yeah? Good boy. So, at any rate, she's doing okay. She's doing okay. I think she's going to be fine. It's probably going to be, because there's like some actual damage to the side of her face, it's probably going to be a couple of weeks before we want to put her back in with the other rabbits. But she seems to be getting better. So, A for us on there. So, what I wanted to talk about today is I wanted to talk about how having a farm, having animals and a garden and all these things, even if it's small, teaches you the value of patience and teaches you the value of calm. Because those are two things you need if you're going to have a farm of any type, whether it's a small hobby farm, whether it's a leaning towards a commercial farm. You need calm and you need patience. So let's talk about those two things, and I'm just going to walk down this way. But let's talk about those two things and why they're valuable, why you should make an effort to learn them if you don't have them already. I didn't always. I am very non-reactive now. But before this whole journey started, I had a bit of a temper. I don't now. And that's because of this environment, where we live, the way we live. So let's talk about it. First of all, I want to talk about being calm. Okay? You may not be a naturally calm person. I wasn't. I'm still, man, I got a lot of gray hairs. I am getting old. Doesn't matter. That's not the point. I just see my reflection in the camera and I'm like, oh, too many gray hairs. Okay. Not the point. Not the point. Switch arms because that one's tired. Anyway, so being calm becomes necessary. Because if you think about it, let's say you got a horse. We have a mini horse. Could be any size horse. And he is down. He is hurt, or he's colicking, or you don't really know what he is. Being followed by kittens. You don't really know what he is. Another tree down. This wasn't down earlier. Oh well. More firewood for us. Oh dear. Oh dear. Little Snickers. Hi, Snickers. Come on, Snickers. Yeah? Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. Anyway, you could have a horse down, you could have a cow down, you could have your a I don't know, a raccoon gets into your chicken coop and is there, and you find it, and you got to do something. In any of those scenarios, the worst thing you can do is panic, right? That's the worst thing you can do. I'm being followed. I'm being followed by these little Snickers. Little Snickers. Anyway, but the worst thing you can do as a person who is responsible for these animals is panic. You panic and you run away screaming, and the raccoon kills your chickens. You panic and you just sit down and cry, and your horse or your cow is going to die. Because what you need to be doing is either fixing the problem or calling someone who can, like the vet. So you have to do something. Having these animals and making a mistake or two along the way is how you learn to stay calm. How you learn that panic is not an option. Okay? That's how you learn that. Come on, Swigs. Come on. So that's how you learn that particular skill, is through experience. And you might be a panicky person. The gods know I was. I mean, God knows I was horrible for panicking. Something would happen and man, I would just freak. Like I had a temper too. But when it came to bad things happening, I would just freak, right? I was the kind of person who would just freeze up, not be able to do anything, not know what to do. Well, you don't get to do that when you have animals that are down, animals that are hurt, guys that need you. Crises are happening. You have to do something. Lives are depending on you. Panic isn't an option. And you will make a few mistakes. You will start out and you will not have learned how to not panic. You will not have figured that part out yet because you're learning. This is a new experience when you're new, when you haven't done this before. So at some point, you do learn to relax. You do learn to be calm, okay? But it takes time and it takes effort. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the patience aspect. Related, but not quite the same thing. If you are going to do any kind of farming or homesteading, you need to learn patience. You want to grow tomatoes? It takes months. It's not going to happen overnight. You want to raise rabbits? Well, first you got to get your rabbits. Maybe you want to raise them for meat. Okay. You do you. But you've got to first get your rabbits, and then you got to wait for them to get old enough to breed, and then you got to breed them, and then you got to raise the babies. And this is not something that happens overnight. This is something that's going to take a little while. It's just the way it is. So you learn to be patient there. You learn to be patient because you haven't got any money, and the thing you want to do is going to cost money. So you learn that it's not worth going into debt for that new fence, that it can wait till next season when you've got the cash. You learn all of these things. You learn to wait. You learn to be patient, and you learn to do it all with a little bit of grace, because there's no point in freaking out. No one but the chickens is looking at you. But those two things, being calm and being patient, even if you don't have those skills now, learning them now, and it takes time to learn them obviously, but starting to learn them now means that in the future, everything about your hobby farming or homesteading adventure will be easier. Because none of this is easy, right? Raising animals isn't easy. You will lose a rabbit. We lost Jack. You will have a huge vet bill because your goat got tangled in a barbed wire fence that you didn't know was there because it predates your owning of the property. Am I speaking from personal experience? Yes. Do you want to know how much it cost? No, you do not. suffice it to say, check your property for barbed wire. You may not have put it there, but that doesn't mean it's not there. So, I digress. But all of these things make you calmer, more patient, and that makes your experience easier on the homestead or the hobby farm or whatever you have. It just makes it easier. It's okay not to do everything all at once. Okay. Anyway, that's just what I wanted to touch on. Everyone's doing well. We have a kitten hanging out with chickens. Are you a chicken? Are you a chicken, Marshall? Are you Marshall? No, you're not. No, you're Debbie. This Debbie. This Debbie the kitty. Yeah. Are you Debbie? She likes chickens. That's good. Marshall was chasing me, so I was wondering if that was Marshall. Oh, Marshall's over here. Okay. That's okay. We got Marshall and Buddy. We got Debbie and Dora, and we have Little Miss. So Little Miss is staying. The other four are not, but Little Miss is staying forever. Here's a Jake, Mama Jake. Anyway, that is going to be it for us tonight. I hope you found that a little bit helpful. Just sharing some of my experiences out here in the middle of nowhere in my little bit of paradise. We'll see you tomorrow.